nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm asking for a motion to excuse Beth's absence.
We're going to do roll call first, though.
Yes.
Okay. So Member Rapinelli?
Present.
Member Pache?
Present.
Member Taylor?
Present.
Member Earl?
Present.
Member Schill?
Here.
Chair Bicknell is absent tonight, and we need a motion to excuse.
I motion to excuse.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Nailed it.
First up is going to be the election of our officers. Are there any nominations for our Parks Board Chair position? Would you please state your name and for the record and your nomination?
I nominate Bridget Taylor. My name is Jessica. Is that correct?
I would second that nomination if that's appropriate.
Is there any other nominations? All those in favor?
Do you accept the
Oh,
nomination?
yes, you have to accept the nomination first.
How do I ask that of myself?
You have the choice.
You do
Oh,
have the
yeah.
choice, and there can be other nominations if anybody has them. And Chair, Vice Chair Taylor, you can do a nomination as well if you'd like.
Yeah, I will accept that.
Okay.
So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, are there any nominations? Let's see. Are there any nominations for the Park Board Vice Chair? Would you state your name for the record and your nomination?
I would nominate myself, Sandy Schill, for the Vice Chair of the Parks Board.
I'll second that nomination.
Thanks, Alex.
Sandy Schill, do you consent to this nomination?
I do.
Sandy Schill has been nominated for the position of Vice Chair. Are there any further nominations? Would you please state your name for the record and your nomination?
Sandy Schill. I'm nominating myself, Sandy Schill.
Since we have one nomination, may I have a motion and a second to nominate as the new chair? Oh, is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? The motion is carried and passes.
Yay.
Congratulations. Next up is late changes to the agenda. Are there any late changes to this agenda?
There are no late changes to the agenda, Chair. Thank you.
Excellent. How about public comment? Anyone requesting to speak to the board regarding all items not subject to a specific public hearing may come forward at this time. Please state your name and limit comments to 3 minutes. Written comments may be submitted to the clerk prior to the meeting. All right. If there are no public
Nobody
comments.
online.
There's no one online. You're good.
Oh, okay, excellent. We're going to move on to the approval of the minutes for December 11th, 2024. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from our December 11th, 2024 meeting?
I move to approve the minutes from December 2024.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Excellent. Okay. Moving on to business.
Stop that.
Okay. So we have, first item on the agenda is the consideration of the recommendation to council to adopt amendments for the Parks Board Rules of Procedures. Mr. Crownhart, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair Taylor and Parks Board. It's good to see everyone in the new year. Before I get started, just congratulations to the new chair and vice chair. And I'd like to thank our outgoing chair, Beth McNell, for all of her service and work. She is still on the Parks Board. She just has declined to serve in a officer's role, and we wish her a rapid recovery. So look forward to seeing her soon. With that, the first item on your agenda is a very brief clerical update. At the December 19th City Council meeting, the City Council adopted ordinance number 1441, which amended the Ridgefield Municipal Code 2.56, which is related to the Parks Board of Commissioners, specifically your membership and what that membership looks like. They have added to the code a youth member to serve in one of the positions on the Parks Board. With that adjustment and change to the city code, an update is needed for your rules of procedure or your bylaws that would specify that the Parks Board is made up of 7 members, 6 of which are adults residing within the incorporated city limits, inside the incorporated city limits, and 1 member must be the age of 14 to 17 at the time of their appointment. In addition, their term, the youth member's term, is different than the term of the adult members. Their term is 2 years as opposed to 3 years for the other members on Parks Board. The other update in the bylaws is to state that the chair and vice chair positions, the officer roles, have to be served by the adult members and cannot be served by the youth member. Those are the only updates that are within the rules of procedure. So as part of our process, it's to get before you for a recommendation to council. Council would take a look at these and say, yep, your rules of procedure look good, and they can approve those and send them back to you for this upcoming year. But as we're preparing for a youth member, we just want to make sure that all of our T's are crossed and I's are dotted, and it's all looking good for you.
Can we ask questions?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So as the parent of a freshman teenager with multiple extracurricular activities,
We're sorry.
Well, it's awesome, but it also requires this latitude for some excused absences occasionally with different activities. I'm just wondering how that works. Like I'm looking at him and I'm looking at his peers. Mm-hmm. They're all really busy. They're all really ambitious, which is great because the next generation's coming to help us out. But there's two. You can miss 2 a year, correct? Mm-hmm. As an adult.
That's correct.
Yeah. So what would that look like for the youth member? The same rules?
It does allow for excused absences versus unexcused absences. That's really the big difference. So as you noticed earlier, we excused member Bicknell because she's out for a particular reason. So there can be excused absences in those cases. The other bigger thing for the city here is this is the first time a body within the city has had a youth member. So there's a lot of exploration that we'll be doing as a Parks Board and we'll be doing as a city to determine what are those policies and procedures that works best. I don't anticipate this to be, this may not be the first step into youth engagement in local government. So this will be an opportunity for us to define what that might look like in the future.
Excellent answer. It's also homework occasionally. Just wondering as a parent, like where they get slammed or they have a test or like they can't control their schedule sometimes. Mm-hmm. Anyways, not just specifically to my child, but anybody that serves in this position.
Right.
Thank you.
I had a question, Corey. So I know the age range is 14 to 17, and it's a 2-year term.
That's correct.
If a senior were to come on at the age of 17,
Mm-hmm.
And they graduate, can they finish their second term as an 18-year-old? That makes them an adult, doesn't it?
Yes, they would be able to finish out their term. It is 14 to 17 years old.
Okay.
At the time of appointment.
Okay,
So
but
they would be able to finish out their term. If they were a senior, yes, they could finish out their term and still be 18 years old.
for a full another year?
Yes, that is
Okay,
correct.
after
That was my
graduation?
question.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
Because there's some that are young enough that they would be, graduating high school and don't turn 18 until the summer. Or there's those who turn 18 in October and they would get appointed at, we are kind of excluding the senior that turns, I guess our appointments are always going to be in January at the same time. Is that correct also?
If there is a vacancy
would
for any
be
reason throughout the year,
filled.
then that would be a time otherwise. But if someone serves a full term, then their appointment would be at the December timeframe.
I didn't know if it would be school year to school year or if it would be January to January.
That's one of the policy discussions that the city staff are having at this point. And in
Okay.
fact, we'll be coming to Parks Board in February to discuss
Okay.
what some of these policies and procedures may look like. We want to get some of your feedback into that as well.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to either direction. I just thought it's to keep us out of the sticky area, just to have it clarified.
They're absolutely worthy of discussion. Thank you, member.
When is the soonest date that you think we will be able to put this out? I know we talked about it before. Is it this spring or that we would be able to take in applications and
It
select?
depends. That's going to depend on City Hall and our communications team. My understanding is that they're hoping to move sooner rather than later to get this individual potentially engaged. So we could see them as early as February, or it could be a little bit later. It
Okay.
depends.
And they'll be appointed, by the mayor?
Yes, it
And
would be appointed
approved
by
by
the
the
mayor.
council, okay.
Yeah, I was just wondering the avenues in which they were gonna seek the student. If they were going to the schools, it was being put on social media, on the city's website. What were the ways?
I anticipate they'll use all the channels that they currently utilize, as well as our partnerships with the school district and other youth organizations throughout the community.
And in their policy talks, would we be considering a student that does not go to a Ridgefield high school that is in the lives in Ridgefield, resides in Ridgefield, but goes to another school in a different district like Battleground or Vancouver?
Well, the current requirements are only that they have to reside within the city.
Okay.
So
Sure.
if they were an individual who was homeschooled or went to a different facility, different school, by all means, that is within the right of mayor and council.
Okay.
Is there any other further comments?
You're not asking for any action on us tonight, are you? This is just a change. Do we have to approve the change in our
Yes, I am asking for action.
procedure bylaws?
Yes, a
Okay.
recommendation to council for an update, just so that we can, have the clerical update.
Okay, I move to accept the draft amendments presented to us for the year starting January of 2025 in our rules of procedure or bylaws.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please
Aye.
say no.
Second.
The motion passes. The second.
Somebody whispered it.
The second on the agenda is, I lost my agenda. I just had it. I found it. Sorry, guys. I'm nervous. The second on the agenda is consideration of approval for the 2024 Parks Board Work Plan Annual Report. And Corey Crownhart, the floor is yours.
Wonderful. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Parks Board. If you did not already know, it is 2025. I cannot believe it's already here. You have done a lot of work over the last year as part of your as a part of your 2024 work plan. And so I've put together a report of the work that you have completed this year for your consideration. Things that I would like to note in here, we did 3 master plans this year. That is a lot, and there was a lot of work that came through here that you sent to council, and so I would mark that as a great achievement of what you've been able to do this year. Another thing, I think there's been great community engagement. We had a wonderful public comment on pickleball. We had Boy Scouts. We had students doing trail survey projects. We had the garden club doing the project, the improvement to Davis Park, all coming through this body. And so, this is an opportunity for you to recognize the work that was done, those things that have yet to be completed, and that official report to council to say this is what we have completed this year. So before you tonight is a consideration to approve this report as you see fit. And my other request is to get your comments as a Parks Board, as you know, what are your thoughts on 2024? And Bridget, you would be able to open the comment for them.
Oh. Yes, I'd like any questions or comments on this item or to open up discussion.
I think we had difficulty with the splash pad, you know, in the work plan, but it is carrying over, and it looks like it's gonna be hopefully finished up by, I noticed, the second quarter of 2025.
The objective, oh, sorry.
And I appreciate it, as, you know, it just seems like we do have, there seems to be some more difficulties when it comes to like the parks that are actually a city park, sponsored by the city and owned by the city, whereas the ones that are included in the development, you know, they have the burden of a lot of the work put on them, but the ones that are here in the city, I recognize that there's more work and sometimes takes a little more time because it's just the city staff, you know, they don't have another development company and the city staff working together to make it happen. So I'm pleased that we have parks that are going in. Splash pad is in, it just needs a little repair, and I'm looking forward to the Nature Play Park being finished. Looks like it's on the board. I also noted, I read in the summary, or in the plan, that there's $10,000 grant, and then the city was also taking $15,000 out of general fund, and I wanted to remind the city that the Ridgefield Main Street program has some monies left in it. I can't give you the exact amount. It's a range between $3,500 and
$4,500.
$4,500 from a mayor's ball that in the past that was designated to, I believe, the Nature Play. So that is money that the RMS understands is earmarked for the city's parks and trails.
Well, I'm always happy to accept more funds for parks.
Yeah, every little bit helps, right?
Staff will make sure that we connect with Main Street to ensure that that's coordinated.
Great, thank you.
One of the most heated meetings I remember was the skate park, and what may or may not happen with that. That's something we'll be covering again in 2025?
As of right now, it's not something that we'll be covering again in 2025. Council has looked at the skate park alternative analysis, and they had previously decided that it would be at Overlook Park. Does it mean that it's going to go in there today or tomorrow? No, but it is slated on the list of potential projects. As we're working through the capital facilities plan for Parks and Recreation, of starting to determine what are the priorities, or how do we put these in order of what goes first or last, that'll be one of those things that they'll consider. That being said, it's going to be put into the same, on the same bucket as, Waterfront Park, Abrams Park updates, Horns Corner with the inclusive playground, and Boyce Park with the pump track, any type of development that may be happening on the east side of the freeway. So they'll have to consider where they want that to be in that pecking order of priorities. And so it'll depend on where they put that.
And then Refuge Park is still in a
Yes,
back
that one as
burner.
well. Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
I think one of the things that I was most pleased about was the community input. And when people were able to come in and do the sticky note projects and really participate in the Waterfront Park and the Boyce Park and Abrams and participate with the people making the designs. That was something that felt
Successful, yeah.
successful, and people really felt heard, and you saw things that they said being implemented and considered, and it was refreshing. So, well,
Yeah, I don't have much to say because I started late, but the one thing I wanted to say was we had approved those trail finding signs, and I think the goal was end of 2024, right? Are they up now, or?
They are not up now. We do have extra funding that was added for 2025. So it's one of those that we may be able to do more if we hold off for a moment.
I just loved, even though I came on late too, loved hearing about the mapping and how everything was going on. And so I ran the Mayor's Meadow Trail that you were telling me about that's like not marked behind some of those subdivisions.
Oh, yes.
Or the G Creek, yeah.
G Creek.
And so I
Uh-huh.
ran that and was really pleasantly surprised. So I'm looking forward to the Parks and Trails tour this year, just to, get another
Perfect.
tour around like I got earlier on. And yeah, we did a lot of work with those plans.
May I ask,
so-
did you find the boardwalk that was out there?
I think I did.
Yeah,
it
like
was
it's just kind of there.
just to like a little overlook and nothing there. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was really cool. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what this year has. And I ran by whatever we decide to call it. At, gosh, I'm blanking on the name now. I live right above it. But they took out the bridge, so I was just kind of checking out the new park that's going to be going.
Oh,
down
Paradise Point.
At Paradise Point. Yeah.
Yeah, it
And so
sounds
it's looking really cool with all the paved roads everywhere. And it'll be interesting to see what
Staff will be meeting tomorrow with the developer team to go over the plans for their timeline for putting together that park.
And I've been
They're
asked
eager to go fast.
specifically from the youth of our community for monkey bars.
Okay.
If they can go in, we want monkey bars.
Oh, boy.
All right.
From members of our audience.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are there any other comments? I would entertain a motion.
To approve our work plan, I move to approve the 2025 work plan for the Parks and Board of Commissioners.
I second that.
Okay, the motion is to approve the 2024 Park Board Work Plan Annual Report. And it is approved. Are all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. All right, and the final business on the agenda is consideration of recommendation for the 2025 Parks Board Work Plan.
Oh, I thought that's what we just did.
No, you just did the 2024
Oh.
report.
You know, well, if you read it back, my motion was for the 25 work plan. So I need to amend that,
Okay,
I guess.
we can do that.
Okay. It's-
I got ahead of myself.
That's okay.
So I will amend my previous motion to approve the work plan report for the Parks Board 2024.
Okay, all those in favor?
Oh, you asked for a second.
Oh, can I?
I'll amend my second, but I second it.
Right. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the motion passes, carries. Okay, now on to the third thing on the agenda, is considering a recommendation for the 2025 Parks Board Work Plan. And Mr. Crownhart, the floor is yours.
Wonderful. So based on our discussion in December, as well as input from the city manager and his conversations with council, we have put together a 2025 work plan for the Parks Board of Commissioners to consider for recommendation to council. In here, you'll see many of the projects that we're carrying over from 2024, as well as new things that will give us, be able to dive deeper into what Parks and Recreation is going to be for our community. I'll save you the trouble of going through and reading the list of all the individual items. I'll point out some of the more interesting or pointed things, such as the capital facilities plans update for 2025 is on our list of things to do. The inclusion of a youth member in the Parks Board is a unique aspect of our work plan for 2025, and will involve all of us in some degree, including staff, on how we work the policies and procedures and how we include a youth member in a meaningful way. I have put on there the Parks Tour, so that council is aware that that is something you would like to have for 2025. Operationally, there was $50,000 approved in the 2025 budget to explore a parks revenue program. Essentially an opportunity for us to start looking at how we can generate funds within our parks or with the master plans that we've put together to help support the continued growth of Parks and Recreation. Dedicated funds would be a great way for us to expand services, complete some of the projects that we have on our docket, and create community engagement for those who want to be, see their name on a brick in a park or dedicated tree to a family member. Other large updates you'll see on here are the engineering standards for Parks and Recreation. Adding a third volume to our standards is going to be a great way to ensure that those parks and trails that are built within our city are up to the standard that city government sees fit. Because what I call a trail or you call a trail may not be what everybody calls a trail. So to have that universal standard will be helpful and increase usability and durability of our outdoor spaces. And then we have a whole list of capital projects, again, based on the 2025 budget, from everything from taking down the caretaker house in Abrams Park to the community center design, which we've got funding set aside for, building a field house out at Rourke, and of course, finishing and completing the splash pad. So those are some of the things that are on here, but of course, this is your work plan, an opportunity to discuss and pull out any of those pieces that you see important.
We can open it up for discussion or questions and comments.
I had a question about the revenue program. With it being new, I just didn't know if you guys kind of had a picture of, is this like a person, the program being hiring somebody to kind of make this, or the program, the funding would be for like promoting the fundraising, and an existing city staff member would be responsible, like yourself or?
Thank you, Vice Chair. We would be using those dollars to hire a consultant to help put together a plan of what could be sustainable for the city and help identify what those revenue sources may be. From there, that will help us determine what that next path is going to work best for us, whether that's working with a consultant to help manage and run a program or to explore other options. So part of this is, discovery for all of us.
Okay. And when will that be put out there to, as soon as we approve the plan, what's the projection for when that would begin? I see it says complete by end of year 2025, but is the process ready to begin as soon as we approve it, or is it something it's gonna take a little time to
Well, at this
organize that?
point, could you give me some
You need
water?
some water.
Yeah,
I drank from mine. I can't do that.
actually, I can go get it. Okay. Sorry.
That's all right, it happens to all of us.
It's going around.
So the
Going around.
the revenue program is already part of the 2025 budget. So it's already been approved and will be happening. So your consideration of it on the work plan doesn't have an impact of whether or not it happens or not. I'm just going to hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kim.
Your boys are being so nice. You're such nice boys.
Maybe that's better. This might make for a shorter meeting. You're welcome. I know I'm long-winded. Maybe they're just trying to tell me something. So the funding would be used to hire a consultant. It's already part of the 2025 budget.
Okay.
So it's not something that if you approve it tonight or don't have that in here, it's still something that will be happening with the city. This is something that council is asked to be part of this.
Good. Okay. My other question,
Oh, your question was also about timeline. My apologies.
yeah, I
Timeline-wise,
was letting you go with not answering.
timeline-wise, we plan on moving as quickly as we can,
Okay.
but it's going to depend on some of our other workloads. We've got Splash Pad to get open. We've got Paradise Point. So those are some of the things that we're going to have to navigate through. But the plan is to get it done by the end of the year.
Okay.
Wow.
I have another question about one of the items on the work plan, the Abrams Park caretaker house demolition. That will just be the house, it won't be the shed that's down there?
There are 3 structures down there. There's the house with the garage attached to it. There is the house that is further south, by the garage that is further south, and then there is a metal shed that is north and on the north side of the trail. The metal shed will stay. The the garage and the house, as well as the shed, will all come down. Those flood every year and get substantial water within them. So we are working with our team to ensure that we've got other storage facilities for those assets that are in there.
So I can let the 4th of July committee know that they need to relocate all of their items.
I believe that was going to be part of your discussion with them for, I think you have a meeting next week with the city.
Yeah.
I think that was going to be part of that too.
Okay.
I was wondering with the house down there, the wood on the house, if some of the wood on the top maybe could be donated to the high school, the woodwork,
That is a wonderful idea and something I will absolutely take to our capital projects team.
to make benches or something for our
Yes.
parks.
We could utilize some of that for other things, by all means.
I have a few questions. Sorry, Corey. The Ridgefield Recreation and Community Center design, I guess I just need clarification between that and the YMCA. I know that they were going to split costs. And it says design completion in 2026. It was my understanding that the YMCA was going to be done in summer 2026. So I'm not really sure. Are they must be two different projects, or?
They are the same project when it'll get done. Timelines have been shifting and moving based on a lot of different factors. And so right now there's $1.5 million set aside for design for the structure. And that would get the facility, get that design ready for then construction. The anticipated plan is to have groundbreaking sometime in 2026 with opening sometime either late 26 or within 27.
And that's for the YMCA as well.
Right now, we're calling it the Ridgefield Recreation and Community Center because who may be within that space is still open for discussion and kind of working with those partners. But there will be a community center of in some regard. Who the tenant may be or may be working with the city, who that partner is, it's flexible.
So to clarify, the YMCA will not own the building. Is that correct? Or
As
is
of-
that still part of a negotiation
That
that
is
could
still
happen?
part of negotiations. So these are still things being discussed of what could be. But regardless, a community center will be coming to the city in some regard. It's who are those partners potentially going to be?
Okay.
So it sounds like the YMCA may not be.
It's
as
not that it
solid.
may not be, it's just I can't necessarily confirm that
Okay.
it's the YMCA, but there's still, we're still negotiating like what those pieces may look like.
Okay,
So-
that's unfortunate.
Yeah,
It's
it's
getting
not to
pushed-
say that it's not the
Yeah.
YMCA.
Yeah,
but that
it's
is
just
very
unfortunate it's
clear.
getting pushed back again. I know that's been something that we've been really excited for. And then the other question, if you had an update on the splash pad, I know this month was supposed to be the finding someone to figure out what's wrong and then finding opening bids for that, if you had an update on where that process was.
We put out an RFQ to have someone come in and diagnose the splash pad. So to have a contractors come in and assess everything that's going on, diagnose the problem, so then we can go create a plan for actually fixing it, having another firm come in to actually make the repairs. That firm that originally put in for it and was awarded the contract has since stepped away. We are now putting out another contract to then find someone to come in and fix it. But we are moving quickly and rapidly to get this thing squared away. Our capital projects team within Public Works has this as a very high priority, and I bug them every day about it. And we have every intention of getting this thing open as quickly as possible. That all said, we will not open a splash pad if it is not safe for the community.
Is the recreation center still inclusive of a pool?
Yes, absolutely.
Because that would be the only one in North County, given that the Ridgefield High School team goes all the way to Camas.
Yes, having an auditorium up here is a high priority.
Is there any other questions?
I just had like two more quick things. The program development that we talked about last time, I don't see that in the plan. But I did see that, I think, in future meeting.
It was in our initial draft. It was asked to be taken out by council because we didn't want to create the expectation this is exactly where we're going to go. That said, we could still have opportunities to have conversations to talk about what Parks and Recreation may look like in other communities, but it's not something that they wanted to include in the work plan.
Is there any more discussion? Right, if there's no more discussion, the motion is to move forward with the recommendation of the 2025 Parks Board Work Plan. All those in favor, please. Oh, can I get a motion?
I'll give a motion. Sorry, a motion to approve the consideration of recommendation for the 2025 Parks Board Work Plan.
I second it.
Right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, please say no. The motion passes. All right, that is it for our business. We're moving on to public comment. So anyone requesting to speak to the board regarding all items not subject to a specific public hearing may come forward at this time. Please state your name and limit comments to 3 minutes. Written comments may be submitted to the clerk prior to the meeting.
You are my hero. Thank you.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Okay. My name's Kurt Weiss. Yeah, as far as listening about the projects that can generate funds, we came from California, and in our community, they had a community center and a park, et cetera, et cetera. And they had a person that they had hired who brought in all kinds of things that generated money into that community center. Weddings, social events, all types of things inside the building and outside in the park. They had barbecue pits and all that out. They had one person that, his whole sole job was to do that, to go out and get, people to come in and spend their money, et cetera, et cetera. This is leading to what we have down there at Abrams Park with the hall. And I know it's last year, there was a lot of discussion about what they're going to do down there with Abrams Park. I guess what I'm kind of throwing out is the possibility of a renovation of the hall, including obviously the kitchen and all of those facilities. But that being said, with the renovation and all that, it's a perfect place to bring people and corporate businesses or anybody into it, spend their money in Ridgefield and have the facility. And who knows, after a while, it probably pays for itself. So, anyway, that's what I'm throwing out, because in California, we had one and it was pretty successful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Right, staff reports.
I'll try my best to keep it short today.
For your sake.
For my own sake.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my best. So, a couple of updates for you from council. There were 2 appointments for positions 4 and 5 for Parks Board. Congratulations, Chair Taylor and Member Raffadelli, for your reappointments. They approved your recommendation for the Paradise Point Park Master Plan, which also included a public process for naming the park. I'm currently working with our communications team to go through what that process will look like. And as I mentioned before, council approved ordinance number 1441, which changed the membership of Parks Board to include a youth member. What's coming next for you, at likely your next meeting or later this year? I sent you an email with a projected list of what we may be talking about in your meetings for 2025. You'll notice that we do not have a meeting on in May. I will be attending the Washington Recreation and Parks Association Conference in beautiful Tri-Cities, Washington. So I will not be here. Kelly Melroy will be attending with me. We're actually going to be doing one of the workshops for the conference, so we're looking forward to sharing what we've been able to do successful here in Ridgefield with our fellow parkies across the state. In February, we plan on having a big discussion with you about onboarding a youth member and how best to support them and what our policies and procedures may look like. So just be ready for that conversation. And then we'll be coming to you with engineering standards to start discussing either in February or March to start looking at how we might want to, what we want to include in those. As a heads up, my first draft took our standards from half a page to 17 pages. So and there's some good stuff in there when it comes to playground safety, when it comes to trail design, and those aspects. So just be ready. I do want to give a big thank you to Chair Bicknell for her service to the Parks Board as an officer, and we're just so thankful for the work that she's done. We're looking forward to seeing her back here next month as a Parks Board member. I would also like to recognize the hard work of outgoing Parks Board member Sarah Scott. She's done remarkable work with the Parks Board, has always kept a watchful eye on Abrams Park, and has been a great partner of the city, and of course the facilities team and the Parks Division, and we plan on continuing that relationship with her. So I just wanted to recognize her hard work and thank her for all of her hard work. And finally, my Get Outside message for January. It's January, everybody's doing their New Year's resolutions, and I would strongly recommend that you try getting outside for your New Year's resolutions. There is something called the 52 Hike Challenge, wherein you do one hike a week for the entire year, for the whole year, to have 52 different hikes. So I encourage everyone to find a hike a week to go enjoy, whether it's short, long, urban, rural, out somewhere else. As long as you're safe and you're having a good time, it's a great way to stay healthy, both physically and mentally. So please enjoy our outdoor spaces.
What about from the board? Does anybody have any updates?
I was just going to add to what Corey said, that we live in a unique, I came here first to this area when I was 19 from Canada, and then I was like, I want to live here. In my mind, I wanted to live here, and I came back later. But it's a really unique place, so we're fortunate to have this kind of access, just, from the high school staring at a volcano or two volcanoes. It's not a normal place geographically, so getting out for those 52 hikes should hopefully be a positive experience.
Yeah, I'm just gonna piggyback on that. I'm gonna take you up on that. I'm gonna try it. 52 hike challenge. How about you guys?
I just want to announce, maybe not the 52 hikes, but I'll try as my best. I am about 15 or 16 weeks, I don't remember, 16 weeks pregnant. So
my goodness.
due in June.
Congratulations.
I'm planning on continuing. It looks like we have a break in July, so that's good. But yeah, I may miss one appointment or one meeting, but I don't plan on missing too many. Our first girl, we have 2 boys already, so.
Congratulations.
I got out and ran this week, and I think I saw a lot more people out running on the street than I'm used to. And so I would just say, I think people are going to be out enjoying the park and trails and getting outside, like your messages say. So
Wonderful.
And just, Corey, you passed your first year here, and I just think you've done an amazing job of managing it and engaging with us and engaging with the community, and thank you.
Well, you make my job easy, so it's great.
And making pickable ornaments, but yes, thank you so much.
Yes. I loved mine on my tree. It was great.
Chair, if I may ask, there was actually one thing I forgot to mention in mine. I didn't have it written in my thing. You may not have noticed, but we no longer have a Ms. Zurcher who is serving as our clerk. We now have a Mrs. Strickler who is serving as our clerk. So I would like to congratulate our clerk on her recent marriage.
Yay! Congratulations. It's wonderful. Well, if there's nobody else that has anything to say, we'll adjourn at 7:15.